an ecosystem of access. One of my last projects that was shown in Sharing Stiftung project space in Berlin, and now it's traveling, is focusing on pelagic plastics. Pelagic means the open ocean. So for this project, I started with this site called the Pacific Trash Vortex. And this is like a floating nexus of plastic waste. It's basically one of the biggest gyres in the ocean that carries all the plastic waste from the nations around it. And it's been like growing. This site has been growing since World War II, some experts say. So I did research on the site, and I reached out to some scientists who actually discovered new bacteria that emerged in the site. And I read a lot of papers and studies done about plastic waste in this particular site. And then I just like asked a very simple question. I was like, okay, life started in the oceans 4 billion years ago, because there's this theory called the primordial soup. I was like, okay, now our oceans have turned into this plastic soup. What if life started in our contemporary primordial soup, in our contemporary oceans? What kind of life forms we would be seeing? So it's a very expansive project, but through each species I had the chance to talk about different aspects of plastic pollution. I really don't have like one opinion. It's a lot of ideas that are simultaneously occurring, and it's very hard to decide whether this is a good thing or a bad thing, etc. But nevertheless, it's a subject that we should all think about. One of them is the Pacific balloon turtle. It's a very cute one, and it has an inflatable back, because I was reading this study on sea turtles, and sea turtles suffer a lot from plastic pollution. And they ingest plastics, and of course ingestion is another big problem. They can't digest it, so their digestive tract is clogged, and they are hungry, but they're full, so they, suffer a lingering death. And in one study, the scientist talks about the food choices of a hungry turtle, in which the food is either clear plastics or colored plastics from like balloons or latex. And the claim is that pretty much every time the hungry turtle would choose colored plastics. Another group of creatures that I designed was birds, because again, marine birds are also under heavy impact by plastics. I just borrowed this phenomenon from biology, the impact of food on the pigmentation of the animal. So I was thinking about flamingos, who have these like beautiful orange, fluorescent orange colors, which they get from the krill they eat. And for the marine birds in the Pacific Trash Vortex, one of the main food resources is unfortunately plastic bottles. So I thought about which corporations create which plastic bottles for, and what color these corporations choose. So I had all these corporate colors that manifest themselves in the feathers of these marine birds. Futurism in itself is quite problematic, because there are groups of people or cultural islands that define themselves futurists, and I don't know if I really fall in that category. But I do think a lot about the future, be this the near future or like the next 10 years, 20 years. Also because it's necessary to do this, especially right now when we're facing all these environmental challenges, such as like acidification in the oceans, climate change, global warming, plastics problems, and cancer, for instance. So these are things that my generation has to think about. And it automatically defines me as a futurist, but not in the sense that, like a pro-technology, like everything is going to be great in the future kind of thinking. I think that was more like maybe 60s, 70s, but not us.